Hey everyone, this is part 3 to the already existing creepypasta iceberg. If you haven't seen the first 2 parts already, you might want to check those out on my channel. They basically go into depth about some other things, regarding the iceberg, so yeah, if you haven't seen that, please feel free to go check that out. Also, before we get into the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor here, because they wanted to say something. Take it away, future Liveup. Oh, hi there. Also thank you, by the way, Liveup, for passing it over to me. Future Liveup here. I just want to say that today's sponsor is something you might really want to look into, and that's subscribing to me. Why would you subscribe? Well, let me tell you. As you probably already know, I do a variety of content, mainly scary stuff, and it's pretty entertaining to say the least. So, if you feel like you love horror as much as I do, and you want to just be the first person to bear witness to what I'm releasing in the future, then feel free to subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. I would love it, and I'm pretty sure other me would love it too. So if you can just subscribe, that'd be great. I'm not trying to pressure you or anything. I'm just saying it would be greatly appreciated. But nevertheless, I'm gonna let Video Me take it away now, and yeah, let's get into the iceberg. Just gonna get a drink real quick. Much better. Well, now that's over with, let's get on to the video. Then who was phone? Okay, so I want to start by saying I couldn't find anything on the actual iceberg itself, really. I don't understand it. I've been researching this one myself, and it didn't come with any results, so I don't know. I think this creepypasta is one that's just shrouded in mystery, but I'll see if I can maybe find it in a future video. Normal for normal people. Okay, I just want to say, given the weird title, I assure you this is not some not safe for work crazy shit. Well, actually, technically it is kind of crazy, but for the most part, it's not what you think. Normal for normal people is a creepypasta dedicated to basically a unprofessional website that displays you know what. And I'll be honest, the story itself, it doesn't actually go into that, because it isn't really what it says it is, technically. As I said, the story basically goes of a man that one day got a weird chain email, and he was sent that chain email, and he goes to check out the site. The site itself, titled This, and he clicks on a couple of the videos, not really realizing what's wrong with them at first, and eventually over time, they get progressively more creepier, and at the end of the story, the author says that all the videos, the creepy and disturbing ones, were actually lost to time. And it's a pretty good story regardless, maybe just a little bit misleading with the title. Romanian Knowledge Experiment. The Romanian Knowledge Experiment was originally designed in a way to know more about a certain forest in Romania somewhere. There were 3 test subjects. Each were told to write down their findings while they were exploring and trying to get out of the forest. Each of the subjects were also going to be rewarded a lot of money as well. The first subject was dropped at the end of the forest. He was instructed to get out, obviously, but also record his findings. He was equipped with a bunch of equipment such as food, water, and also a lantern to obviously light the way. While the test subject was lighting the way, he decided that he was going to write a note. The first note said that he was simply scared of being in the forest, considering the light from the lantern almost made it look as if there was more people there. After the experiment, the first test subject was reported to be slightly on edge and a lot more paranoid after the entire event, and after a while he kind of forgot about it. The second test subject was dropped in the exact same place with the exact same things: food, water, but the only difference being in what looked to be infrared camera. It wasn't so useful for navigating, and also the second test subject had reported to have been pretty horrified and mentally troubled by the events. He reported seeing some strange animal-like creature in the woods, hunched over, almost as if it was supporting all of its weight on its lower extremities. The thing simply just stood there, and as you can imagine, not wanting to let this thing out of its sight, he soon ran away from this strange creature. The second subject shortly after decided to get some therapy after what he'd seen in the woods, but at least he emerged alive. The third subject, however, never made it back. He was equipped with the same materials as everyone else: food, water, the only difference, a night vision camera. However, like everyone else, he also wrote a note of what happened while he was there. The note was found on the cabin porch as they were about to leave, the remainder of the government officials, of course. The note simply stated that there was a creature in the woods, simply standing there. It could barely be called human, as the facial expressions were twisted in a way of malice and what looked to be just pure insaneness. The third subject, then relatively terrified, immediately tried to write this down very quickly and try to get out of there. But unfortunately, the thing caught up to him and presumably killed him. Happy Sun Daycare. Happy Sun Daycare is a disturbing tale about an old nursery that actually used to be in commission, but is now hearing less and less from other people going there. The story basically follows the main protagonist as he's an author, and he's basically writing about this old place and just basically seeing whether it was good or not. A lot of people, however, all said the same thing. It was creepy, in the sense that most people said that whenever they behaved badly, they were put in a room with a rabid dog, or at least what appeared to be some kind of dog. One of the former kids there actually stated that one time they were put in there for being bad, and this person, or what appeared to be a person in some kind of a dog costume, attacked them. Only shortly after, when the nursery seemingly closed for the last time. Liars. Liars is the story of a kid that was at school one day, and as you can imagine, he was a pretty confident kid. He made a lot of jokes, and some were at the expense of other people. One day, however, he made a joke about someone's mother, and it was pretty crude, and as you can imagine, one of the guys thought it was anything but a joke. As a matter of fact, the kid that he inadvertently pissed off was a psycho, to put it bluntly. One day he was in the science room, for whatever reason, as they cornered him, and after the kid rounded up a bunch of other people that hated him, the kid that was most angered by him grabbed some acid and chucked it on his face. The result was the image that you see now. However, he ends up getting his revenge, killing each and every single one of them. I know it might sound strange, but I always check my house before bed. This creepypasta, fun fact, is actually one that I did write myself. The problem is, I removed it shortly after, for various reasons, mainly just being the fact that I didn't think it was as good, but nevertheless, I thought I might just mention it here just because. The story follows a dad that recently had been tending to his son, just checking on him, make sure he's okay and stuff. But the problem is, they realize something's very quickly wrong with their house, and I don't want to spoil the rest of it, but if you feel like you want to give, just a couple minutes to listen to this, then you might want to, because for what it is, It's okay, I guess, and I think you might like it, so if you feel like you just want something else creepy to listen to, feel free to check that video out. Pale Luna. Pale Luna is the story of what appeared to be an old puzzle game. You would be put in this situation with a bunch of prompts and commands. The author of the story actually states that after playing it for a while, he discovered there's a couple of secrets. And after making it to the end, you then see something really weird. Also, throughout the game, a person named Pale Luna would smile wildly at the player. Even then, after a while of basically just doing a bunch of different commands, the thing that he eventually notices is disturbing, to say the least. The player was then given coordinates. Naturally, he traveled to those coordinates and was basically brought to a small forest. The author, thinking he was going to get something like some actual treasure, dug up a small uneven patch of dirt, only to reveal a dead body of an 11-year-old girl that went missing ages ago. Okay, so for those that don't know, I've already done a video on this one previously, but the portrait is a story about a man that was a hunter, and one day, after a pretty long day of hunting, he came across a cabin. Now it was beginning to get awfully late, so he decided that he would basically go there and just sleep for the night and then maybe explain himself to the owner of the cabin the next morning. However, just when the author got in there, he noticed that there was a bunch of portraits lined across the walls of the cabin, each one looking more worse than the last, with heavily disturbing expressions on the faces. The creepy thing is, however, he woke up the next morning to find that the cabin had no portraits, only windows. This man, have you seen this man? The whole premise behind him is that he basically invades people's dreams, and he's said to either give you advice or just be a general creepy person. However, I think the most logical explanation for this is that basically, when our brains go into the fictional land of Dreamworld, they don't exactly know what a regular person looks like, so they conjure up the most generic looking face they can. This probably being why everyone is so insistent on why this face or this man is so familiar. Nevertheless, the creepypasta states the same thing, that he basically is just a person that genuinely can venture into people's dreams. Some people say he could even be a representation of God. Misfortune.gb. Misfortune.gb is basically an old Game Boy game. It can be found by playing through other games, such as Pokemon for the Game Boy, or any other Game Boy game. The main premise of the game was that it would give you the best horror experience, but at a cost. It turns out that the game was apparently cursed in some form or some way. After failing a bunch of the puzzles as well, you will then be directed to this creepy image. The player will then allegedly be cursed with bad luck for all eternity. Hey everyone, thank you for watching till the end. I just want to give a big shout out to you guys. Also, this iceberg video is a tiny bit smaller. You may be wondering, why is that the case? Well, that's because I wanted to get the other parts out first. In which case, part 3 was going to take a bit of a while as well, so I just decided to do part 3 now, and then do part 4 in the next video. And in which case, part 4 is going to be the finale. It's just going to be a bit more of a longer added on bit for the end. So yeah, but nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to subscribe. It's free and I guarantee you'll love it. But nevertheless, thanks again for watching. I love you and I'll see you later. Goodbye everyone.